In the halls of power and the ancient texts of theology, a map exists that looks nothing like the one we see on the news. It is a map that ignores modern borders, treaties, and international law. It is the vision of Greater Israel, or Eretz Yisrael Ha-Shlema. To understand the current chaos in the Middle East, one must look beyond the daily headlines and toward a long-term geopolitical game, a game where the objective isn't just security, but expansion. From the Brook of Egypt to the great river Euphrates, is this merely a religious relic, or is it a documented political doctrine currently in motion? The concept is rooted in a biblical covenant, but in the 20th and 21st centuries it transformed into a rigorous strategic plan. While mainstream diplomacy speaks of two states, the reality on the ground tells a story of one state expanding toward an invisible horizon. 1982, a strategic paper is published in the journal Kivunim. It is authored by Oded Yinon, a former senior official at the Israeli Ministry of Foreign Affairs. This was not a religious prophecy. It was a cold, calculated strategy for regional hegemony. The Yinon Plan argued that for Israel to survive and expand, the surrounding Arab world must be fragmented. It called for the dissolution of Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, and Egypt into small, ethnic, or sectarian enclaves. By breaking the neighbors, Israel would become the undisputed power of the region. Look at the last 20 years. The invasion of Iraq in 2003, the Syrian civil war in 2011, the collapse of Libya. To the casual observer, these are isolated tragedies. To a student of the Yinon Plan, they are milestones. As these nations fractured, the vision of a Greater Israel moved from the fringe to the cabinet meetings of the Israeli government. Facts on the ground are harder to erase than lines on a map. By 2026, the distinction between Israel proper and the occupied territories has been systematically dismantled. International law, the Fourth Geneva Convention, the UN Charters, prohibits the acquisition of territory by force, yet the expansion continues. In February 2026, the Israeli Security Cabinet ratified measures that effectively annexed the West Bank in all but name. They transferred administrative powers from military to civilian bodies, a move the UN warned was a revolution in territorial control. The goal? To make a Palestinian state geographically impossible. But the ambition doesn't stop at the Jordan River. We've seen Israeli ministers stand before maps that include parts of Jordan and Saudi Arabia. We've seen the rhetoric shift from defense to redemption. When the architecture of an entire region is being demolished, you have to ask, who benefits from the rubble? We are now in the era of Operation Epic Fury and the structural reordering of the Middle East. The old world order, built on the 2015 JCPOA and the Oslo Accords, is dead. In its place is a new, uncertain hierarchy where borders are fluid and sovereignty is a luxury few can afford. The Greater Israel Plan is no longer a hidden conspiracy. It is articulated in coalition agreements. It is visible in the 36,000 new housing units approved in East Jerusalem. It is written in the laws that treat the West Bank as sovereign Israeli soil. By violating every international norm, the goal is being pushed into reality through sheer persistence and the silence of the global community. History is not written by those who follow the rules, but by those who rewrite them. The Greater Israel game is a high-stakes gamble on the future of the Middle East. It is a plan that requires the permanent subjugation of millions and the constant fracturing of neighbors. Propaganda tells you this is about security. The facts tell you it is about territory. As the maps continue to change, one question remains. At what cost does a nation reach for the horizon, and what happens when the rest of the world finally wakes up to the new map? This is the reality the media ignores. This is the blueprint for the new Middle East.